some, they're here to heal us because they will show up at one of the worst times in our lives and they will help us to heal. Um, Sometimes they are here to, because animals can be our teachers, catalysts to, I've had an animal that was a catalyst to somebody that helped them write a book or helped them on a new career path to get on their soul's journey. They can be bridges. They can be spirit guides for us. There's so many ways that they are here to help us.
Welcome to Souls on Tap. I'm Julianne Thon.
And I'm Jennifer Cross.
Today on our show, we are happy to welcome Julie Bassett, who is an animal communicator, a pet behavioral specialist, pet medium, and a shamanic energy practitioner. Thanks for being here, Julie.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
I know that our viewers are going to be so excited to hear how you do the whole process of working with pets and our beautiful, beautiful earthly animals. Mm-hmm. So I have really been looking forward to today. So just to start things off right away, Julie, you describe yourself as an animal communicator, as I said, and of course a pet medium. So what was it that led you into this work, and how did you first realize that you were able to communicate telepathically with animals?
Well, it happened when I was little. I had a very deep connection with our family dog. We kind of grew up together. It was more like she was my sister versus a dog. I could always tell what she was feeling. But then, you know, when you're little, people tell you, oh, it's all in your imagination or whatever. And so I shut it off. I've always loved animals. I've had a connection with them. And so I started getting back into it after having back surgery and then a pulmonary embolism. I started taking classes, and it helped me to, one of my mentors, Lynn McKenzie, helped me to start remembering that I was able to communicate with animals. And so I decided I didn't want to go back to corporate. I did for a while though, but I've been doing this ever since, and I just love it. I absolutely love it. And one of the things about Lynn McKenzie is she also taught the healing part of it too. And so that really resonated with me, as being able to help the animals both by communicating with them and then helping with their physical, emotional, and spiritual or behavioral type issues.
So you kind of stopped. I'm sorry, Jennifer. So you kind of stopped. You kind of halted your abilities. What would you say, around 8 or 9, 10, something like that?
Probably before that.
Okay. And then were you in your early 20s when you picked it up again, or early 30s?
Oh no, it was fairly recent. It was like after my back surgery, which was 2017. So 2017,
wow.
I started taking these classes, and it just started coming back to me.
Great. Yeah, that's the remembering. I'm sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm so interested. How is it that animals do communicate with you and with us, and how is that different from how we communicate with each other?
Well, we can talk verbally, you know, and we can listen, we can talk and have a conversation. With animals, it's more telepathic, where they're sending you messages and pictures or clairvoyantly, or sometimes I've gotten a taste in my mouth when they ate something that didn't agree with them, or
wow,
or had a funny taste, because I got like a metallic taste when they were eating some, like a pill. or if they smelled something that was off, sometimes they'll send me a smell. So they can use all of our clear senses to communicate with us. They just don't have the verbal communication that we do.
I see dogs on YouTube and everything because, I just love animals so much. I watch all different kinds of animal videos, and
Yeah, me
they
too.
have this thing that they do and they say, I love you. Have you seen that one?
Yes, yes.
It's so awesome. So, what is that about when the dog is actually mimicking a human's voice? Are they evolving, or are they just playing around with us?
It depends on the animal, but most of the time, animals are mirrors. And so a lot of times they're mimicking us, you know, and sometimes they're very dramatic too, because if you hurt a leg, sometimes they'll raise their paw and act like their leg is hurt too.
Yeah.
I've
And
seen them do
so
that.
sometimes when we talk, sometimes they're trying to imitate what we're saying.
So I've actually heard people say that when you're communicating with an animal, it's important to listen from the heart to an animal's voice. What does that mean when they say listen from the heart?
Well, animals are very heart-centered. They're full of unconditional love. And so we need to get into our heart and into um, be able to open up our hearts to them to be able to receive communication. Because when you open up your heart, it raises your vibration. And animals are very high vibrational beings. They aren't stuck in all the negativity that humans are. They
Mm-hmm.
aren't stuck in all the worry and um, fear-based emotions and all the um, stuff that we go through on a day-to-day basis. But when we slow down, when we connect in with our heart and open ourselves up to listen, that's when it comes through.
Do you believe that animals have karma or soul contracts? Um, and if so, do you think that they know, or do they have like a soul purpose like a human?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So what have
All
you
animals do.
run across as the type of contracts or that you have when you have encountered this during your session?
Multiple ones. Some, they're here to heal us because they will show up at one of the worst times in our lives and they will help us to heal. Um, Sometimes they are here to, because animals can be our teachers, catalysts to, I've had an animal that was a catalyst to somebody that helped them write a book or help them on a new career path to get on their soul's journey. They can be bridges, they can be spirit guides for us. There's so many ways that they are here to help us. Um, it's just amazing.
So for those of us who are not fine-tuned into animal telepathy like you are, Julie, what does that look like when you say that they can sometimes help you write a book or they can be a bridge for you from maybe during a life transition or help you during a chronic illness or something like that? What does that look like?
Well, for the book, it was a lot of it was inspiration. The animal provided the inspiration, and sometimes what the animals do is they are a conduit to spirit. They help us channel spirit and uh, channel that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes they're just here to help raise our vibration and bring us joy, and that helps us to heal. Sometimes they're here to um, heal our hearts and open up our hearts to new love. There's just so many reasons why animals are in our lives. Even
So,
the wild animals are
oh,
amazing.
absolutely. So, getting back to what does that look like? So, say I'm an author and I'm writing a book. how is my pet going to communicate to me if that's a part of their contract of what I need to do in terms of this book? What's that going to look like to me?
Well, you forget we're all energy. And so our energy fields overlap. And so you might not realize they're communicating with you, but your subconscious does.
Ah, okay.
And they're sending signals to your subconscious on what you need to be doing and providing the inspiration, the creativity, and sometimes even the words.
That's pretty neat. So that's just like spirit or our guides.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Julie, have you had any experience around animals that are, well, I think they're helping autistic children
Mhm.
communicate, especially horses. I love the horse therapy that has been around for actually quite a few years with special needs children.
Mhm.
Are you versed in that? Can you tell us about what you feel is going on there?
Well, in my belief and in my experience, I haven't dealt with a whole lot of autistic kids, but a lot of them are very telepathic. They can communicate with
Yes.
animals better than they can communicate with humans.
Yes.
And that love that the animal brings and that um, friendship that it's like a soul connection with the animal, and it just brings reassurance and uh, love to that individual. I think it's just beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Because you offer pet mediumship and help individuals connect with their animals who have passed, what is different in that process compared to how you communicate with them uh, on this earth?
When I communicate with a animal that has transitioned, I speak to their higher self because animals have short lifespans. And so sometimes if it's been, especially like a couple of years since their pet passed, they might be reincarnated again. So I have to connect with their higher self and specifically ask them about their lifetime with this person.
Hmm.
I I have a funny story. I was doing pet mediumship one time and I was asking, okay, well, how did you die in this life? And it told me this one thing that the person was saying, no, that doesn't resonate. They died this way. And I asked the dog, why did you tell me that? Oh, you weren't specific. You just asked how I died. I died, this way one time. I died this way another time. You weren't specific. You need to be more specific. So I'm always learning too as I'm talking to these animals. So now I'm more specific when I ask an animal how they passed in a certain lifetime.
Where do they go when they pass? What realm do they go to? Do they go to heaven?
The Rainbow Bridge is a real place. Heaven is, in my belief system anyway, heaven is a real place. I do believe all animals go to heaven,
Heaven? Okay.
um, because, or, the Rainbow Bridge, whatever you want to call it, because animals are so full of love.
uh,
Can they? No, go ahead.
do animals have free will like we
Yes,
do?
yes.
So, if they have free will, have you ever communicated with a pet who is very clearly, you're picking up very clearly that they are not following their soul contract? What, how do you help them get back on or working with their contract?
I really haven't had to deal with that much. Most of the time, when they're exercising their free will, they are, it's like they don't want to talk right now. Um, And I've asked to talk to an animal and they said no. And so I have to respect their free will. I have to respect them and say, okay, that's fine. I'll ask them if I can talk to them later. Most of the time it's a yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I have been told no before.
Mm-hmm.
I have been told no, I don't want healing before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it just depends on the animal. As far as their contracts, um, most of the time, I believe they are living their contracts. They're more apt to do it than we are, I think, to be perfectly honest. Um, but it just depends on the animal.
Do animals develop spiritually? Like, does an animal always stay an animal? Does a dog always stay a dog? Or does a dog want to be a cat or a horse sometimes or a lion? And can people have experiences? Can a person say, hey, I want to try it out as a leopard and just, boom,
What?
reincarnate as a leopard?
Yeah.
Well, I have had a dog, a horse, or a dog sing the theme song to Mr. Ed, and that's how it wanted to come back as a horse next time. I was talking to the horse. It had its a dog friend that came back with it, but it didn't want to be a horse. And so the dog that came back as a horse started grieving because his animal companion, horses live a lot longer than dogs, so
Yeah.
his animal companion died. And he says that, I came back because I thought being a horse would be really neat because I saw this Mr. Ed. And, but, it was sad for him to lose
Mm-hmm.
his dog friend.
Of course.
Um, I've also heard of a cat. I had a cat one time tell me this was a domestic cat, indoor cat, says, oh, we always start off our journey as feral cats.
Wow.
Apparently they go from a wild cat to a feral cat, and slowly as they evolve, end up being a domesticated, spoiled house pet.
So
Hmm.
that brings to mind a couple of things. First of all, regarding the reincarnation as a horse, when we were doing our phone interview with you, Julie, a week ago or so, um, you had picked up from my Portia, my dog, one of my dogs, that she really wanted to come back as a horse in another life. And I was, because I had commented to you, there's something about the TV when horses come on. She just drops everything and will literally just be glued to the screen and watch everything the horses do. And I thought that was really neat.
Do you think that animals um, are evolving in their communication style? Because it seems to me like, even in my lifetime, when I was a kid, dogs didn't communicate the same way to me. Like, I don't feel like they did. And now I see these dogs, including my own dogs, just like on a whole different level. Do you see that?
We're both evolving.
That's what I was
Mm.
going to say. When she said that, I'm like, that's because you have evolved. They've
Mhm.
always been communicating.
It's because you're more open to it.
Mm-hmm.
You are more receptive to it. It's not all in our imagination anymore.
Right.
People don't, when I first told people I was an animal communicator,
Oh,
people looked at me like I had two heads.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
But now more people are doing it, more people are awakening and opening up to their spiritual gifts and their spiritual abilities. I don't like calling them gifts because we all have them. They're our birthright.
A natural part of who we are. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And but yeah, I think we are evolving we're trying to be more heart-centered, we're meditating, we're trying to clear our minds, and that allows these messages to come in. So we are evolving, and our animals are finding easier ways to communicate with us, and we're more receptive to those communications.
So along those lines, Julie, for those listeners who really would love to begin developing their own intuitive communication with animals, what sort of daily habits or practices would you suggest they do to start fine-tuning their abilities?
Be present and start having unconditional love for the people around you, the animals around you. Start coming from a place of the heart. I like listening before I do a session. I like listening to um, like heart chakra healing music on free on YouTube, and that gets me in the heart space that I need to be able to communicate with the animals.
Also, along those lines, in terms of animals communicating to us, what do animals say to you about their diets? Because I'm like, I'm a maniac. I cook. I literally cook twice a day for both of my dogs. And
Like I want her to have me over for dinner, and I'm like, fine, if she just wants to give me what the dogs eat, I'm fine with that, because you should hear what she does for them twice a day.
yeah, and just
Our
because,
animals
my
often eat better
lifestyle.
than we do.
Yeah, sometimes they do. But I see like that commercial when the guy's pouring out the dog
Kibble.
dry
Yeah.
food, and they're like, no dog should have to eat this, these meals every day for the rest of the. It's just horrible to me. And my lifestyle is such that I can do that, and I understand most people's is not. They have different job situations. So I'm so interested. What did dogs say about the food?
Well, some dogs aren't very picky, but there have been a lot of the animals that I help with behavioral issues tell me that their tummies are upset
Oh,
and they end up having like food sensitivities, food allergies that I can pick up on. And so once they change their diet, the behavioral issue goes away and their tummies are better. Because when you don't feel well, you aren't at your best and you might snap at people. You might be lethargic. You might not be acting like yourself because you don't feel well.
does the dog realize that it's from the food?
Often they do.
So I've seen some dogs that have pretty bad allergies to something will often lick their paws just incessantly. Is that sometimes a sign that they have an allergy to something?
It could be a sign of an allergy. More often than not, it's because they have an imbalance of yeast in their gut.
Oh yeah, just like the humans,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
But because we treat them with antibiotics every time they get sick, it's killing off all the good bacteria in their gut. And so Candida albicans is an opportunistic, and so it just takes over. And so animals start having allergies. They'll start licking their paws. They'll start scratching a lot. They might start losing their hair. There's just so much and the vets, bless their hearts, aren't familiar with the diets. They aren't familiar with Candida albicans because they maybe get an hour of training, kind of like human doctors. They don't go for nutrition and healing
Yeah.
the root cause
Mm-hmm.
first.
Mm-hmm.
But there is Aspergillosis is a good yeast that will help push out the bad yeast.
Mm-hmm.
And you give it for like a month, pushes out all the bad yeast, and then um, it ends up leaving the system as well. But start a probiotic like 2 weeks after you start the Saccharomyces boulardii, and that yeast problem goes away.
Are the animals able ever to tell you to tell their humans what to do, or is it up to us to figure it out, or somebody like you to tell us?
A little bit of both. Sometimes they know, sometimes they will just kind of, because when I do healing on an animal, I ask if I can step into their energy, and then I ask them to feel what they're feeling. And so I might feel like bloated. And so I'll start asking, okay, um, do you have a food allergy? Do you have a food sensitivity? Is it to this, or this? Um, Sometimes they might get a bad bag of food and it's making them sick. I had someone give me kind of like a moldy smell and a moldy taste when their bag of food had gone bad.
Uh,
Ooh,
And, they were eating it and it was making them sick.
yeah.
poor babies.
What do they like to do? What? How do they like to play the most? What's their favorite thing?
It depends on
Depends
the
on the dog.
animal.
I knew she was going to say
I
that.
know that, but like I mean, of course, in
They like
general.
chasing balls. They like tug of war. They like, they just like interacting with the humans
Okay.
and going for walks and just being present.
Yeah.
You know, Portia is our first dog. When we adopted her, she just had to have our attention all the time. And I had never seen a dog, sure, puppies, but I'd never seen a dog that demanding of human interaction. So it got to be so bad that we couldn't even, my husband and I couldn't even have a conversation. I mean, the minute we sat down and tried to talk, she was just bringing us toys, just doing everything she could to distract us. So I tried to discipline her so she could learn how to sort of regulate herself. That didn't work. And so we got her a little brother.
Yeah.
And boy, that sure made a difference. But I felt sorry for him because her alpha really came out, and they're both German Schnauzers, but she is insisting every minute of every day that it's clear to him that she's alpha. But when she's not thinking of that, then they play and have a wonderful time together. It's pretty sweet to watch.
Mm.
When animals start doing that, it's often because they are sensing stress in you and they
Mm-hmm.
want you to be present. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is they have excess energy and they don't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the number one reasons why animals misbehave is they have all this excess energy because they aren't being exercised enough, or
Mm-hmm.
they aren't, you know, humans, we go to work, we come home, we have to cook dinner, we have to maintain the house. Um, so the dogs aren't getting as much playtime as they need. And different breeds are different because there are some that are couch potatoes. I'm perfectly happy to be couch potatoes, but others are working dogs and they want to work. They want to have a job. They want to be active.
Yeah.
If they aren't, they have all this pent up energy that comes out as behavioral issues.
Yeah.
When I was growing up thousands of years ago, I we had a dog, but back in the day, so this would have been like in the 60s. It was rare for us to see dogs on a leash and owners walking their dogs. Big dogs always stayed outside, almost always stayed outside. Um, Little dogs did too with dog houses, but sometimes they were full time inside the house, but that was rare. And I often think about we had a beautiful collie, and we tried to have her come in when it was raining or when it was um, the hail would get to be really bad, or if it was just supposed to be really cold. We'd have her come in, and she just hated it because we hadn't taught her to be comfortable to be in the house. And so I remember one time we all went to bed and it snowed like several feet throughout the night. And we got up the next morning to check on her and we couldn't find her. Pretty soon, this great big lump in the snow sort of got like the snow just raised up. And she was perfectly happy. She just shook off the snow, she was, but my guilt, because we have a tendency to personify our dogs and we think that the dogs that are pets and cats and animals think the way we do. I mean, I've seen some people with their fish personify them like crazy, like, oh, he's depressed today or something like that. We just have a tendency to transfer our behaviors and our psyche on those of the dogs. And I've heard dog psychologists say you have to be careful because they don't think the way that we think. Their energy vibrates a little differently than ours does. So we didn't talk about this beforehand, but Jennifer, I was wondering, and if you don't want to do it, I can do it with one of my dogs. But Julie, would you be willing to read one of our dogs today so that our listeners could see how great you are and how cool what you do is? It's pretty fascinating.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine.
I would love to do one of mine. Do I need to bring him in the room or
I would bring him in the room.
And I'm going to need a name too.
his name is Z, like the last letter of the alphabet.
Okay.
Okay.
So while she's getting Z, do you agree with what I just said about back in the day, dogs just were not a part of the family in the same way as they are now?
I'm not sure about that. I know, I mean, dogs shed for a reason because they're building up their fur coat because they are used to being outside. They were once wild animals. So, and I know there have been a lot of organizations and people that don't like having the dogs outside because they think it's cruel. I think it depends on the dog. I think it depends on the owners. If they're going to have them chained up and not spend any time with them, yeah, that's cool. If they aren't going to provide protection for them in the winter, if they want to get out of the snow or the heat, yeah. I think I came from, and I think more of the country people, when
Yeah,
you live in the country, they're more apt to leave their dogs outside because often, like in the farms and the ranches, those dogs are working animals, and so they're keeping their flock safe.
Yeah.
okay,
So
Z.
I have Z. Z is 15 years old. And, no, 1 second. Can you, there he is.
Hi,
Hi,
sweet.
Z. Hi, Z. Hi. What a sweetheart.
Oh, God. Hi.
Z, do you want to talk to me?
Do you want to talk? Can you see? No.
I think your
I'm seeing a
keyboard
keyboard.
upside down.
I don't need to
Okay.
see him.
Because that might get a little difficult.
He does.
So
He
that
does.
that's
Does
Z.
he doesn't like you to hold him.
Well, he weighs like 60 pounds.
You don't like
And
to hold
he's
him.
and he's 15, so
Ah,
he doesn't bend the same way anymore.
yeah. His yoga is a thing of the past.
He's pretty active though, but he's still.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he's very exuberant. Got some
He
great
is.
energy. Is there anything in particular you want me to ask him?
Um, how does he feel physically? Um, for pain because I give him CBD oil. Um, how are his teeth? And how is his diet? Like, does he sometimes he gets like in the morning times he gets like a sour stomach and he goes outside and eats grass.
All right. I'm asking him if he's in pain. I'm
Do you,
also, go
Jennifer,
ahead.
do you see the ray of sunlight that's going
I
through?
do. I
Yeah,
do.
I'm sorry about that. I should have
No,
shut
it's actually
my,
it's apropos. I'm thinking how cool it is.
well, I'm kind of horrified by it. It's like, oh crap.
No,
Their podcast.
it's very cool actually because of what you do, right?
Um, he's not in pain. I'm now asking him if he's in discomfort. He does have some discomfort. Uh, can I step into your energy? I'm stepping into his energy. Can I feel what you're feeling? I'm getting a little bit of arthritic pain around the lower spine and down the back legs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm getting a little discomfort in my belly. Just trying to isolate it. Um, what it's feeling like is a little bit of inflammation. And now I'm feeling it go up my throat into my esophagus. So a little bit of acid reflux maybe. Now asking about the diet.
Like, I'm wondering, should I omit something that he's eating if he can tell which food it is that's doing this?
More vegetables. He's showing me like green beans.
Okay.
Um, a little bit less on the meat because meat is very acidic, and that I think that's what's causing his acid reflux.
Okay.
Add a little turmeric.
Turmeric. Okay.
It's anti-inflammatory. With a little pepper and a little fat because that makes it 1,000 times more effective.
Did you say fat?
It could be fat from meat. It could be fat from fish
Chick-
oil.
Chicken broth.
Because he eats fat every day. And I
Then,
understand that pepper activates turmeric.
yeah, fat helps it stay in the system a little bit longer. So as long
Okay.
as he's eating it with some fat, maybe the meat that you're feeding him or whatever else might have fat in it.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome. Can you ask him maybe is the CBD oil that I'm giving him, does that make him feel better?
he's telling me
It
yes.
it appears to. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Um, are you open for me to do some healing on him?
Absolutely. And I'm sure he is too because I mean, I know you're going to ask him, but he's had it done his almost his entire life.
Okay. I'm sending him some flower essences, digest ease and purification. These are different types of flowers and essential oils that serve a particular purpose in an animal. Sending it to him energetically. I'm also getting fear no more.
He's saying
Honeycomb.
that?
Uh, This is what I'm being directed to give him. I only give him what he requests. And, even though the name sounds, sometimes there's a certain ingredient in there that he needs. Okay. Now I'm clearing out his meridians. The meridians of the body are one of 9 different energy systems. And if you have a lot of stuck emotions, say in the stomach meridian, you can have upset tummies, you can have acid reflux, you can have stomach ulcers. Not animals are very empathic, and so they absorb emotions from different animals around them, people around them. They even bring it in from past lives. I'm cleaning out all the stuck emotions from his meridians. Now I'm going into his chakra system. So I'm doing the root chakra, cleaning out the root chakra of anything that doesn't need to be there. The root chakra, besides stability and security, also provides energy to the lower spine and the back of the legs. It'll help a little bit with his arthritis. Now I'm going up to the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus provides energy to the stomach area. I'm going to clean that out really well. I'm going to go ahead and do the heart chakra and the throat chakra. Okay, that's all he wanted on for the major chakras. Now I'm going to do the minor chakras. The major chakras are like the chorus dial on an old-fashioned radio. The minor chakras are like the fine tuning. So I'm going to get the self-preservation chakra. This works with the root chakra and also provides energy down the back legs and lower spine. The digestive chakra. Now we're going up to the whisker chakra, which provides energy to like the mouth area. I'm going to close all those up. Setting a rainbow light to all these chakras, making sure that they are flowing freely. And being told that healing is complete.
Wow, that's really extensive. I guess the last thing I would ask is, did he have anything to say to me?
He's just saying how much he loves you and how grateful he is that he came into your household. Um, He says he's your helper. He's also telling me that he wants you to stay more present because there's sometimes he says that you worry too much. And he's basically saying you need to get over it. There's nothing to worry about. Everything is going to be fine.
Okay.
Um, Stay present, Mama.
Okay. Wow. That's
He's also saying, don't worry, be happy. Find more joy in your life.
I work a lot.
Yeah, he's kind of mentioning that.
He's by me, but you know, it's like
That,
we mentioned before, it's not the same.
you know, while you were doing that healing, Julie, not only was it just fascinating to me, but I felt so much love. I could just almost see it. And so were you displacing when were you cleaning out a chakra and then you drop it? Is that what you were doing? You're cleaning and then you drop and you clean and you drop?
I give it to Mother Gaia for transmutation.
Ah,
And that is just a mini healing. I do a more intensive healing um, where I get a lot more information about what's going on. And, um, sometimes things from past lives come up. Sometimes um, predispositions based on ancestral energy come up. There's a whole lot that comes through in one of my extensive healing sessions.
um, would you be willing to just answer one question regarding my little Oscar who just had surgery 2 days ago?
Absolutely.
Just ask him, how's he feeling? How's he doing? And is there anything more that he needs from me and from his dad?
Okay, let me disconnect from Z.
Thank you so much, Julie. That was wonderful. Thank you for helping my
That
guy.
was that was just the coolest thing.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt it here.
Yeah, yeah, I did too.
And you said your dog's name is Oscar?
Oscar, yeah.
All right, let me connect in with Oscar. Hey, Oscar, how are you doing? Okay, I guess. Are you in pain? Not in pain, but he is in a little discomfort. Just ask him if he needs anything else. Says no, I'll be okay. Tell Mom not to worry. Just a little sore right now. I know she did it because she loves me. He has complete trust that you have his best interests at heart.
Oh, that's true. I do. Oh no.
He's saying, okay, now can I have some more treats?
That's Oscar. That's
Bribery
Oscar.
works wonders.
Yeah. I tried to find these treats that are homemade and they're home baked and they don't have a lot of the fillers and stuff in them. And I tasted them and they just taste like cardboard to me, but boy, they sure love them. So, of course, yeah, okay, people, I know those of you out there, listeners, I am one of those. Sometimes I eat and taste what my dogs eat. I want to know, okay?
Um, the freeze-dried, like chicken and salmon, those are wonderful.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, we were
all
given,
they have is like the chicken or the salmon, no preservatives, things like that.
yeah, okay.
I
I
ordered
canned food. I've canned food for my dogs.
I'm sure you have.
Yes, I do. Because I don't eat meat, so I
I
do eat fish, but I don't eat any other meat. So
Yeah,
and I
same
can
here.
honestly say that any kind of salmon treats that they've had, I haven't tasted those. Well, oh my gosh, Julie, you're so wonderful.
you
Thank you.
are, you're
Thank
amazing.
you for being on this earth.
Yes,
Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to do what you do. Well, it chose you. I get that.
Yeah.
But thank you for leaning into it and being the beautiful, beautiful soul that you are, because we need this. We need this so much. You know,
we do.
it's just an extension of the evolution that we as human beings are going through, and the planet as well, you know?
And
So
both of my dogs are here now, so they know you're here. Yep, Z's looking over here, looking. Where's
hi
that lady?
Z, hi Ursula. Well, Jennifer, do you want to ask your final question?
Yes. I'm just gonna read it today. It's a little bit longer than usual. What message or piece of wisdom would you like to share with our audience about the soul of animals, their interconnectedness with humankind, or how to better honor their consciousness?
Oh gosh.
It's a big one.
Yes, it is. I would say we as humans are always busy thinking about the future, thinking about how we're going to pay our bills. We're always worrying about something. We've always got so much chatter in our heads that animals want us to be more present.
Mhm.
They say, don't worry about tomorrow, worry about today. Allow yourself to be present today and feel the love in your heart. Allow your heart to expand. And that is going to raise the vibration of humanity and the earth. Allow yourself, thank you. I'm getting chills right now. Allow yourself to be present. Clear your mind of all that chatter and just be present and listen to the animals when they come, when they try and communicate with you. For you all can communicate with animals. It is your birthright. We're always trying to communicate with you. So allow yourself to listen, allow yourself to be still, allow yourself to be. Thank you, sweetie.
Oh
Thank
gosh,
you
thank
so
you.
much.
That was just so beautiful.
That was so beautiful and
Oh
deep.
my
Thank you so
gosh.
much. You are wonderful.
My animal friends are wonderful.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Animal.
they are.
Gosh, thank you again, Julie, so much for coming on. You're just an amazing soul, and we so appreciate everything that you're doing for our animals, and in turn, what you're doing for we humans as well. So,
Well,
and
thank you for having me.
thank you to all the rest of you who have tuned in today to Souls on Tap. If you enjoyed today's episode, please, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a drop of wisdom. We'd love for you to share any thoughts that you have and add any type of healing modalities that you'd like for us to showcase. Because remember, we are here for you. Jennifer, would you like to do a quick mention of our directory?
Absolutely. If you go to www.soulsontap.com, you will find the directory of all of our guests, what they do, and how to get in touch with them, including Julie Bassett.
So until next time, all of you stay curious, stay connected, and we'll see you on Souls on Tap.